Hi everyone, my name is Angela Mitchell. If you're new to my channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Angela Mitchell. I'm a psychic medium. I have a huge interest in astrology, the paranormal, anything to do with spirit or spirituality. This channel has lots of different topics for you to explore, from meditation to the paranormal, and also on astrology and energy guides. So before we get into the video today that I am recording for you, which is all about the full moon, full flower moon in Sagittarius and the lunar eclipse of May 26th. If you like this topic, anything to do with what I've mentioned, please subscribe and hit the notification button, because then you'll get alerted when I come on live. So if you don't want to miss a video, then subscribe and get notified. All right, so let's get into the topic today, which is the full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. There's so many big words, isn't it? You know, a lot of people go, "Woo, this is so crazy. Oh my God, I'm feeling the energy." But what does it really mean, and how is it going to affect us? That's what we want to cover. I really aim to make information like this really accessible and also easy to understand. Now, full moons are generally bring some form of closure to a situation. You might see something start in the new moon last month, and you know, a theme that you've been working through, a situation developing, and then you will see some kind of closure. And also, full moons illuminate aspects of our lives that sometimes we prefer to suppress. We human beings are really good at sweeping things under the carpet, and we sometimes don't want to face the difficult, sticky bits of our lives, difficult things that make us feel very unhappy, or we feel overwhelmed and we're unable to process or face them. But the full moon, when what happens is that if you keep pushing it aside, keep pushing it aside, but then until you honestly, until you face it and process it and heal and do something with it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball. It starts to snowball. And this is where the universe intervenes. And at times such as this, where you have an energy blast, what really happens is that the universe uses this energy to sort of illuminate and do a big clear out, literally. So it can be quite exciting and can be quite daunting as well, but it is very much, this full moon is about uncovering and shedding light on the long term. What's your heart's desire? What do you really want? And you know, also it will shed some light or eliminate the areas of relationship where you might start questioning role in a relationship. You know, what is your role? What is the commitment that you have made? Perhaps you haven't had made a commitment. It might make you aware of it. Also, it might, you know, some people, especially with the eclipse in the picture, some people might see some endings as well, but we have to see it as a new beginning. That a ending of a relationship could be the beginning of a new way of life, a new relationship, a new mindset. So it's quite, you know, some people would call this quite dramatic in some ways, because it does affect us on a very personal level. But when you start understanding, for example, what is your role in a relationship, if you're always the one, the provider, or you're always the one that is holding everything together and it's becoming overwhelming, or it's becoming really tiring, then you might get some clarity as to why you have been feeling in a certain way. So this is important. Take note and really try to embrace this feeling and understand it. Also, perhaps, you know, the relationship could also relate to your work. Your how are you? What are your relationships with people that you work with? Are you being overworked? Are you being suppressed at work? So all of this is shedding light and illuminating areas that we tend to not take note of. Really, also, you might. There is also a sense that some of us might start thinking about, hold on a minute, if you're self-employed, for example, you might feel, hold on a minute, I am doing so much and I don't have the skills to be able to do this particular task, and it's getting so difficult. For example, you might take on some help. Perhaps you need someone to give you ad hoc help that could clear up the calendar and give you a little free time to think and plan and strategize, not just running around like a headless chicken. Perhaps you might get a partner for the business. Perhaps you realize that I need somebody's expertise. I need the networking. I need all these other things to put together and make life easier for myself. The focus essentially will be about home, and your about your home, your family, your relationships. It'll give you the clarity on events, that recent events. So this is not just coming out of the blue. You might feel that this has been a growing trend or theme, and but it's bringing these things to light. You might Some people will see tension arise due to work-life balance. For example, you may need to step back and see the full picture. Now, when we have a full moon or any kind of planetary movement, you might find that you might be feeling differently to a particular reading, or you said, right, hold on a minute, she's saying everything is really negative or the energy is really heavy, but I find it really inspiring and I'm feeling very energized. So why is it different? The reason is simply um, that whenever we have a full moon or any kind of planetary movement, a retrograde or anything goes direct, it also depends on what is happening in your own birth chart. So, and that's we're getting deep into the sort of rabbit hole of astrology, and I'm sure there are better people, better placed to be able to explain that to you. But you probably need to do a chart and follow the trends as you go along every month, and then you say, right, wow, okay, I've got Aquarius in my house, in this particular house, and I've got Saturn is dominating my finances at the moment. So all of that is very personal, but an overall reading will give you a themes and things to look out for, and also to be aware of. I think that's the biggest thing. Now, the most important thing right now is, if you find things are very, difficult, and you find there's lots of tension around the people, either at home or work or friends or family, then take a step back. And to give yourself a wider perspective, and to try to understand, okay, what is happening here before you react. Because when you have tensions, and you have a situation developing, the moment you react immediately, you are not looking at the big picture, and you're not looking at the motivations, you're not looking at who are the key players. So it's always important to step back. Now, eclipses, now this is the quite important. Eclipses can help reset your emotions and help you step back to take stock of your life. This is why it's all happening, guys. What it does, it's not so eclipses. I can't speak. may not always be bad for you. It is a wonderful way for you to step back and to have clarity, to reset your emotions, perhaps whether it's within your relationship, whether it's your emotions about yourself, perhaps your attachment to somebody. All of this, it helps you process your relationships and your emotions, but it also encourages you to take stock of your life, because every now and then we do have to do that. We have to step back and we have to see the big picture. And then, it's like driving, I'm in outside of London, and if I was driving to Wales and my route was taking me off to say um, to East Sussex, I'm going the wrong way. So if I don't stop, reassess where I am, reset my GPS, I'm not going to be aware that I'm going in the wrong direction or wrong path. So this is to help you to do exactly that. And also, what as I tune into the energy of the moment now, and I always like to do my writing and the videos or my energy guides very close to the event itself. So I'm not going to do this a month ahead like some people do, because I am more, I'm feeling the energy and I'm doing this quite intuitively. So I'm not just putting some words together and formulas, but I'm feeling the energy right now. And what I am feeling is that it is very much about health and watching out for any kind of addictions, and whether it's food or alcohol or substances. But it's about when it's about understanding what you're doing too much of. Are you addicted to work, for example? Are you addicted to Facebook? And I hate to say it, addicted to YouTube. Okay. There, so it is about it's really about not overdoing things, but it's to make us aware of and look, I know we've all been stuck at home, and a lot of us have indulged a lot. So have I. So I'm very aware of that. But if you find that your grocery shopping has a certain amount of too much of something, then we have a problem. Okay, obviously if it's vegetables it's fine, but if it's candies and alcohol, then you know. I kid, I suppose at the start of lockdown, probably I probably had that kind of basket anyway. But it is really about being aware of all of these different emotions, about what you're doing too much of, too little of, and trying to help you reset and also break those patterns. Now, another thing to note is that the Mercury retrograde starts shortly. In fact, it starts on Saturday, the May 29th. So literally, today's May 25th. So it's just about 4 days before another big energy blast comes onto us. Now, so get what you need to get done. I know there's a lot of scaremongering about Mercury retrogrades, and it's like blaming everything that happens. But I believe that the more we understand and the more that we can, more knowledge we have about certain events, it allows us to prepare. It allows us to navigate the energy better. That's what I hope to help you with. Now, get what you need to get done. Paperwork, do you have some documents to sign, or are you buying if you need to buy big items or you're making big purchase, do it now, do it before the 28th. Because between May 29 and June 22nd, this is not a good time to invest in anything, not a good time to take big steps, not a good time to do any kind of big paperwork, or because I'll tell you why. Okay. Well, they can cloud your mind, but I'm going to talk about this in a while now, because I need to also tell you a little bit more about the eclipse, which often, as I said, gives you clarity. Along with the full moon, it gives you illuminates certain aspects of your life, but it also brings hidden truth out. It means if your intuition has been telling you something that is not right about someone, a friendship, a relationship, or at work, the energy will force this out. So it can be good or bad. Now, I want to tell you a story about this. Actually, it's a quite good story about this. I know a friend who had, we've been sort of talking about work, with friends. We always talk about work and other stuff. And she was telling me that she wasn't feeling very happy where she was. She wasn't really sure about her boss, and her boss was acting, her line manager was acting a bit funny. She felt very unsettled. And then this was 2 years ago, I think. And there was a lunar eclipse exactly like what we're having now. And she overheard somebody talking about, management talking about a possible restructure, and I think even the words redundancy came about. So that got her really shaken. And then then she started looking for jobs, thinking, okay, it might affect me. Something told her that this message was for her, and in the sense that, okay, this is tying up with how I was feeling about the boss acting a bit shifty. Anyway, a week or two later, she did get, it was then made known that they were making people redundant, and she was offered a package as well. So when we were chatting about this, and she was saying like, "Oh my God, Angela, that was a lunar eclipse," and this is what you said about eclipses and about hidden truth, etc. It just tied in so amazingly well. So it can be good or bad, as I said. But it is almost as if you already have, the universe and the energy will make you feel like there is something not right, or something's going on. And then when there's an eclipse, especially with a full moon, it then brings out the hidden truth, and then you get clarity on a particular situation. um, Eclipses also help us see what is working and what's not. Perhaps a web designer or that you hired, or a friendship is not working out. And maybe the web designer has been working and not getting it right, and you're just thinking, oh my God, I just need this website. But the sooner you finish the website, the sooner you can start selling your product. Or perhaps you're losing customers because the website's not ready. So it will help you break free from, in order to make progress, if that makes sense. As humans, we tend to ignore subtle messages that the intuition sends out, because you might just keep going with this web designer thinking, okay, it's all right, he's going to get it right. But then there's a point where you have to stop being nice, and you have to make a stand, and you have to say, right, okay, this is not working out, or I need my money back, and I need someone who can actually finish this project. Or perhaps you have a friendship that's not serving you well. A lot of us have friend enemies, and we're probably too afraid, or we're too nice to sort of say, right, okay, look, this is not working out for us. But then all of these will come to the fore. So really embrace, acknowledge, and try to understand, be aware of your feelings and your emotions in the next couple of days. Now, also, one thing to remember: eclipses and full moons, their job is to bring in change. Is to absolutely bring in change. So let's go back to the Mercury retrograde. Okay, on the 29th. I can barely say that word. Now, when it's in retrograde, that's what another thing to understand is that what a retrograde is to go back. So when it goes back, it means that it's actually sleeping. So all the influences that the Mercury would have if it was direct is opposite. So it's not influencing your communication to make it better. It's not influencing, it doesn't have an influence on travel to make things smoother. So everything opposite. This particular retrograde for this time, it is actually going to affect our mind, and this is where it ties up with the eclipse as well, and the full moon, which is all about emotions and feelings, and the reset. I always have during a retrograde, I always feel like I have I got cotton wool in my head. Now, let me know if you can if you resonate with that. I also feel I can't think clearly. I feel like I've got early onset dementia because I keep forgetting names. I forget what I wanted to do. I mean, it just gets worse. I've really had bad memory anyway. But during a retrograde, I always feel like I'm very, very callous. I'm not mentally sharp, you know, and I really find it hard to think clearly. So let me know in comments below if you understand. Now, why is this important? And when people talk about retrogrades, Mercury retrogrades, so misunderstandings, communication breakdowns, transport problems. I bought something and it broke down, etc., etc., etc. Now, when we don't have mental clarity, it leads us to make bad decisions. For example, accidentally sending an email to the wrong person, or buying electrical items without reading the fine print, or buying the wrong model. I remember last year I had a bit of a laugh because I wanted to buy a small a pan and like to make some Indian rice cakes, and I ordered it and think, and I thought, well, it's only £10. What's a big deal? Anyway, the package arrived. It was smaller than expected, and opened it, and I'd ordered a big pan, and the seller had sent me a mug. So it was obviously a wrong item. Anyway, so I had to resend it, and then he sent me a refund. And eventually, I was very annoyed because I wanted it for something. But anyway, I had to go and buy it. So you see the hassle. Um, I think in this case, I wasn't really at fault, but you know how it just happens where things just go wrong. A friend of mine bought a TV, and I had a conversation with her a little while after a full moon, and she'd bought sorry, after Mercury retrograde, and she'd bought a TV, and for her new house, and she was just telling me about, oh, you know what, they sent they didn't send the brackets, and then when they did, I had to be on customer service for hours, and then eventually sent the bracket to the wrong house, and and then I had to drive up to London to go pick it up. It was just this hassle. And I said, when did you buy it? And she said the date. And I said, oh, right smack in the middle of, 2 days after Mercury retrograde. And she was going like, what? Why didn't you tell me? I said, well, subscribe to my newsletter. Okay, well, we had a bit of laugh. She said, oh, next time I'm going to buy anything, I think I have to email you and find out if it's a good time. But I tend to not. I really, really put off buying. I try to plan things based on the retrogrades. Like, I know when I'm going to buy something. I try not to do it during and a little while after a retrograde, because the energy of the retrograde, even if it goes direct on June 22nd, 23rd, 24th, the energy is still around. So I try to sort of be sensible and plan things. Now, the retrograde is also a great time to slow down. Some people don't like it, especially if self-employed. You really want to be busy, but you have to believe that things will pick up, because I find that the energy moves really quickly right after a retrograde. So if you're planning on launching a new service or a product, do it before the 28th. get things done, your paperwork, all of those things done before the 28th of May. Now, the full moon in Sagittarius is about expansion and awareness of our roles in the community. I'm very excited because I'm Sagittarius, and a Sagittarius, and when you have a full moon in Sagittarius and you are the same star sign, it does affect you quite positively. And this is what I've personally found. But the Sagittarius is about expansion, it's about expression or self expression, and it's awareness of our role in the community. And we have a tendency to be reckless. There's the other dark side about Sagittarius, or perhaps what makes us interesting, unique, and wonderful is that we do tend to be reckless, but we are very impatient. My recklessness, or I call it my leap of faith, has actually it's taken me all around the world, and it's made me do some amazing things. But it can also I think I leap before I think sometimes, and these are times where it shouldn't be a leap of faith, but it's more of trying to be practical and also spontaneous. So you really have to strike that balance. But the impatience, this is what the traits that I don't like about myself is sometimes my recklessness and my impatience. When I'm impatient, I can get because I get bored very quickly. So when boredom just leads to trouble. It can boredom and inspire some people, and boredom can and push people to do stupid things. Okay, and that's talking for experience. So just watch out for that. Try to use that excess energy in a positive way. If you're feeling very impatient, just remember that when it's just from May 22nd to May 29th to June 22nd, things are going to move quickly. I'm going to get going. So use this time of rest, use this time where things slow down to think, to strategize, to plan. If you're running a business, use this time to work on your social media content. Start maybe restructuring your website, or even writing down or your blogs, or it's about, and also maybe planning the projects in the future. Use this time wisely instead of thinking, nothing's happening, I'm so bored, what could I do? So for example, you could be somebody in business, and because that particular business is nothing's happening, then perhaps you jump into something else, and you're not putting, you're splitting your efforts in two different areas, and that's not working, this not working, and then you just confuse yourself, and perhaps even waste your resources or waste money on projects that are not going to be successful. So watch that energy, use it. I always use the retrograde time to slow down or meditate. I do some writing, I start planning what I want to do, so workshops. So I'll be using this time to think about what workshops I'm going to be starting in July, for example, June, July. I'll be thinking about what sort of content I want to put, and what I want to share with you. I've been planning all these things. I might be working on my website. Last year I did that. So it's a fantastic time. As another thought as well that I just dropped into my head, I had to remind myself um, that talking about websites and computers, especially during a Mercury retrograde, back up, back up, back up. I had that problem last year where my website was, I had an issue with my service provider. They literally deleted my domain, and it had a whole month or two of getting it reinstated. So back things up. Whether it's your computer, whether it's your website, whatever. Okay. Now, this is it, guys. So, not the other thing that I'm going to share with you right now. is the rituals. What can you do now? What can you do with all the energy, right? But before that, if you're watching, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the notification button. I'd love to get this message far and wide and to grow my channel. If you want, you can go to the top and look at um, 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 the address on your window, and you can share this video as well and let people know what is happening energetically. Now, the rituals, the full moon rituals that you can do is, first of all, especially because it's a full moon, you want to write a wish list. So you want to write a wish list of the things that you want to manifest, and be practical and logical when you write it. Don't put uh lottery wins, etc., because this energy is difficult to manifest. So something practical, for example, a pay rise, or that you'd like to make a certain amount of money, or perhaps you'd like, about your health, your family's health. Perhaps if you're looking for a house, I would like to manifest this house with 3 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, whatever. Write down a sensible wish list of things you want to manifest, and also kind of know that you can manifest it as well. It's just about bringing it forward. Okay. And then another list of things that you want to let go. And this may be quite emotions or addictions. For example, if you're a smoker, you say, like, I want to stop smoking. Please help me stop smoking. It could be, I want to let go of grief, or I want to let go of anger. I want to this. Okay. So you got two lists. One is your wish list, and one is your letting go list. On full moon night, so May 25th, you can do this tonight, or on the 26th or the 27th. The energy will be strong within these 3 days. So you start off in the evening, whatever time you want to do it, and you would need some Californian white sage, a little bowl that is fireproof, perhaps a feather, and put on some calming music in the house. Something that just makes you feel a nice chant, or just even a soft classical music, anything that makes you calm and happy. You obviously don't want trance or heavy metal at this point. Just something to put you in the mood. Burn your sage. I like to use the leaves and not the wand, because the wand burns really quickly. And I like to burn 1 or 2 leaves and see how smoky it gets. A good quality Californian sage will be quite smoky. And then I would start the front door, and I would just use the feather to feather out the smoke. And I would go up. If you have 2 floors, you go up. But basically, you want to start at the front of the house, all around. You go all around and come back to the front door. And then you would take the fire bowl, your wish list, and a lighter or a candle, would even be better, and you go outside. If you don't have a garden, you can just do it in the house. Okay. And first thing you want to do is you want to look up, even if it's cloudy, the moon is still there, and you just want to say, Mother Moon, please help me let go of all of this. And you take your let go list, burn it, and watch it burn until it turns into ash. And then, Mother Moon, please help me manifest my wish list. And then you take the wish list with all the things that you want to manifest and light it and let it burn to ash. Then take all of that and just put it into your flower pot or whatever. Now, if you're in a flat, don't have a garden, you can just do it in the house. Look, go to a window, see the moon or the sky, and you can do exactly that. But do make sure that you turn off your fire alarm, and also make sure that you don't don't set the house on fire. And if you have crystals, then you want to put them into some water, some clean or purified water, cover it, leave it outside if you have garden, or just cover it and leave it to a window that faces the sky or the moon. And then the next morning you can just take out your crystals, put it on some kitchen towels, and use the water, and you can shower with it. Just pour the water over you or wash your face. All right, but you do have to watch out, because there are certain crystals that if you put it in water, they just basically just disappear, like selenite, for example. Okay, so just do your research. Just Google, like, yes, I've got some selenite here. So if I put this in water, this will literally just disappear within, I don't know. I've not tried it, but well, actually, I have. Actually, I did a little bit, but it would just disappear, and you would just lose all your crystals. So just make sure, just Google the crystals, find out whether that can be immersed in water or not. All right. So happy full moon, happy flower full moon, happy lunar eclipse. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a comment, and please share out, please subscribe, and stay blessed. Thank you so much for watching.